and I got weak because of my muscular dystrophy because I wasn't sleeping, and I ended up in the hospital, and then I came back to Ruby House and I became a resident, which just means that they were being paid for me to be there, and they took care of me. On my bad days, they helped me, which they helped me before, but now they were being paid for it, which always helps. And so, and on my good days, I helped them. And so, and that went on for 2 years. At the same time, I was still involved with Gala and MCC. I was their secretaries and worked there and went to church, and so worked through all that. I was still involved. Well, 2 years later, 88, 89, 90, when we become a commissioned church, is also a big time when I decided that HIV was not going to win in my life, and I was going to at least argue with it and beat it, and so not let it win. And that's when I moved out of Ruby House. And so I moved out of Ruby House and came to live here and so, with Mark, and so came to live here and lived here for 2 years. But that was and then in '92, I moved out of Ruby House, but I got real involved and helped them, and I became their administrative assistant. And so that was the title Billy gave me, and so and I still have it today. And so I had been helping them when I was a resident, but when I moved out, I was able to devote more time because I was able to leave, which makes a big difference when you can go do the paperwork that's needed and help in the house and then be able to leave and don't have to stay the night. And so I helped out. That was in the 90, 91, 92 range. I was living here and helping Mark, who was helping me in return, and so we were working through it. And so in 90 is also when I got on my I filed in 87 for SSI and Social Security, which everybody does because I was sick enough. And 90 is when I got awarded it, and they because I had to go to an administrative law judge which is about your fourth denial, and so I had to go through an administrative law judge, and I got awarded my Social Security in 90, but they paid back from 88 on, in January 88 on, which is when I became a resident of Ruby House. So it all worked out. And so I was working here, and I was helping Mark, volunteering for him in the kennels on his days off, but I was also going through classes at MCC under Jody's leadership to become the deacon. And so in June of 92, it was May of 92 that I became that I was accepted by the membership of MCC as a deacon of MCC Roseburg. So I was a deacon. And then in June of 92 is when Jody resigned as pastor of MCC. And so, I became, in July of 92 is when I became the worship coordinator for MCC Roseburg. And so, because we were in term and we had a pastoral search committee, PSC. Everything's in initials. I mean, that's the way the world is nowadays. AZT, all these initials. But I was so that was what, and I'm still, and then I'm the worship coordinator for MCC at this time. This is 93 now. I've brought up my chronological life to 93. I'm the worship coordinator for MCC Roseburg. I am the administrative assistant for Ruby House. I still am, and I'm a full-time volunteer at Ruby House. So as an administrative assistant, almost administrative assistant. I got a few titles there. Client service coordinator, and let's see, what else do they call me? Payroll clerk, because I do the payroll. Financial clerk, whatever you want to call it. Accounts payable, accounts receivable, I do all those. For Ruby House. And I'm currently the secretary for Gala, and that's about enough. Yes.
That brings us up to date. With regard to both your Gala up to the present time personally, and also brings us up to date in at least your part of your knowledge of Gala and MCC. You mentioned that MCC reached a high point there when they were given an award Since then, things have changed a lot within the gay community. I wonder if you would speak to how you see the gay community now, small g, small c, and how you see GALA as an organization and MCC as an organization. How do you assess the picture now?
Okay, I'll take MCC first, then say about GALA, and then give my overview of the entire thing. Would that be okay? Okay. As a director of worship coordinator of MCC Roseburg, since Jody resigned in '92, membership and attendance has fallen dramatically to the point now where we were averaging over probably a year and a half ago, we were averaging 25, 30 people in attendance at a Sunday worship service. We now average 2, if you're lucky, 3 mostly, so it's usually myself and sometimes 1 or 2 others. And so many times the entire board don't even come to service. And so that's where we are, and that's what's been happening the last, I would say the last 3 months, it's getting very discouraging and very hard. Well, that's just a insight picture of what's happening with GALA. GALA is the same way. Within the last year, last couple of years, we've had falling attendance in membership, falling attendance in activities. I mean, GALA survives by its fundraising, which is usually a party or a dinner or something, and because it only gets it gets very little grants. Even though Donna writes lots of them, we don't get very many because there isn't too many grants for a gay organization. Period. Well, the membership, the attendance at these fundraisers has fallen, which in turns the the income for GALA. Well, we've closed the Gay and Lesbian Community Center, and we moved. That was when did we do that? And so
May of this year.
May of '93, we closed the Gay and Lesbian Community Center and moved to the Unitarian Church. And then November 1 of this year is when we closed the Gay and Lesbian Community Center at the Unitarian Church. And so we don't have a community center at this time, and we barely have a GALA. GALA is a dysfunctional unit, family, that the men don't get, overall, the men don't get along with the women don't get along with the men. Now, there's always the exceptions, and the exceptions are the leadership of the 2 organizations and those that are dedicated to the organization. Otherwise, you have all this dysfunction, the separation, the separatist. It's hard for the organization to stay alive, to keep going, to stay viable. And that could go back to maybe Measure 9 caused some of this, but you can't blame everything on Measure 9 because we were already having problems before Measure 9 come along, and we just have more problems now.
Measure 9 was the anti-gay initiative run by, put on the ballot by the Oregon Citizens Alliance. Is that right?
Yeah. That was our big fight in '91, '92, and that was in the general election in '92 that we had Measure 9 on the ballot, thanks to the OCA, the little jerks, and so it's a nice word for them. That was our thing in '92, but we already had the problem starting in early '92, '91, '92, and it just got worse down the road. Some people will say they don't come to GALA events, or they don't even come to MCC because they're associated and they might be identified, and that's just not safe to do in this area. Well, I'm an out gay person in this area. I've been in the paper, I've been on TV, and I haven't had no problems, so I don't, and I'm a single person, so if these couples are worrying about being identified, I don't understand it. So, but they have to deal with that. I mean, I can't tell somebody how to live, and so I can tell them to get over it, and I have said that, get over it and get on with it. And so I just think a lot of the gay community, little g, little c, in this area, that's the identified and the non-identified ones, need to agree to disagree and agree to honor each other's diversity. We don't do that. We want